Personal Story segment tonight is getting very personal between Senators Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, who are competing for the Republican presidential nomination.
Yeah, I know I have a debate, but I got to get this fantasy football thing right. Okay.
Words and political stunts cannot ensure our security. ISIS cannot be filibustered. While some claim that they would destroy ISIS, that they would make the sands of the Middle East glow in the dark, my question is, with what?
Senator Rubio referring to Senator Cruz, saying he would annihilate ISIS using high-tech weaponry. Joining us now from Iowa is Mr. Rubio. First of all, is it personal between you and Cruz?
No, of course not. When it comes to the issue I highlighted today, the fundamental problem is that if you're in favor of a budget, as Ted Cruz has voted for, that undermines defense spending, if you're in favor of a bill that undermines our intelligence gathering capabilities, you can't destroy ISIS. You don't know where they are because you won't have the intelligence and you won't have the weapons to destroy them with. So there's a difference of opinion in our party about how much money we should be spending on the military, and that's a valid thing for us to debate on.
Sure, and that's a policy difference. But in Cruz's spot against you with the fantasy football thing, that wasn't policy. That was a shot at you as being a lightweight. Come on, you know that. Isn't that personal?
Well, I haven't seen it. Yeah, I haven't seen it, and so ultimately, you know, people are going to do whatever they want to do in this campaign. I'm pretty confident.
Did you know
that,
Cruz before the campaign? Did you know him as a senator from Texas?
Sure, I've met him before.
But you don't.
I didn't know him well, but I knew him before.
Okay, so
and I like Ted Cruz as a person. This is nothing personal. You have to ask him. I don't think it is on his part either. But bottom line is, I'm going to focus on policy. This country is living at a key moment in its history. We have 7 years of a president that's tried to fundamentally change America. We can't afford to get this election wrong. We deserve campaigns that are serious about what's happening.
As I said at the top of the broadcast, people are furious in the Republican Party, but they're furious at the Republicans because they let Barack Obama bring the country so far down the road of weakness. But I was surprised, outside of Lindsey Graham, you have been the most hawkish against ISIS. I mean, you're in line with my thinking that you can't contain evil, you have to destroy it. But the way to do it is to take the burden and distribute it among the NATO nations using Article 5. That's the way to do it. And you protect refugees at the same time. You muster enough force to really wipe them off the face of the earth. But you and no other candidate has brought that forth, and I'm surprised.
Well, I have. First of all, you also have to have the cooperation of Sunnis. You need the Sunnis themselves to reject them ideologically.
That comes after. That just as Petraeus proved in Iraq. All right, it comes after the commitment of the West. Then you'll get that.
Right. So you need, in fact, that's absolutely true. You need to show a true commitment on the part of the United States to embed special operators, increase the airstrikes, and then but you also have to have Sunni ground forces as part of the solution. Sure. You're right in saying it won't happen unless we're committed. But going back to the point you raised at the beginning of the interview, you can't do that if you don't have the resources. We are on the verge of having the oldest and the smallest Air Force in American history. How anyone running as a Republican can be supportive of these defense cuts, the party of Reagan, the party of strong national defense, is beyond me.
Okay,
my number one priority
Americans
as president will be to rebuild the military.
And I would support that if you do it in a smart way. Okay, but Americans don't want the United States taking it alone. Why not bring in NATO? Why not lead that way? I just don't get any of you guys not putting that forth. I don't get it.
Well, I've never said that we shouldn't. They should most definitely be a part of any effort, but it won't happen without us going first. In essence, only America is NATO. When you look at the broad scope of
we
NATO's
could get it done if somebody
it is the American military that.
But that's the solution.
And that is, we need to put together that well, it's not just NATO countries, by the way. I think Jordan and Saudi Arabia and Egypt needs to also contribute to this effort, especially on the ground.
All the Sunni countries will follow.
But I do believe that NATO will not take action without American leadership.
But nobody has put forth Article 5. The French president did, Hollande, but everybody ignored him. I think, listen, I'm not in the business of telling you guys how to run your campaigns, but I think Americans have had enough of it.
No, Bill, but I actually did. And right after Paris, I said that I would support the invocation of Article 5. If France invoked it, that I would support it. I absolutely said that in the days right after the Paris attack. In fact, the day after the Paris attack, I said this was an act of war, an attack on a NATO member, and if they invoked Article 5, we needed to respond in kind.
That's the solution. All right, Senator. We appreciate it. I'm glad you and Cruz aren't mad at each other. And you're welcome anytime. Happy New Year to you.